When a storm ripped through a small Irish town, uprooting an ancient beech tree, locals never expected the chilling discovery tangled in its roots. What they found beneath the surface stunned archaeologists, and what it revealed, a haunting clue from centuries past. What other secrets lie buried? Comment with your thoughts and subscribe to The Unusual for more untold mysteries. Trees overthrown by tempestuous conditions are fairly usual across Ireland. However, upon witnessing the bizarre spectacle that this felled tree revealed, assistance from a team of scholars was required. Ireland is not originally home to the beech tree, yet it was introduced relatively recently. The Dark Hedges of Northern Ireland is the country's most well-known group of beech trees. This tangled web of trees provides an astounding visual experience as their branches twist together over a country path. The scenery of the Dark Hedges is so impressive that it was even featured in the popular television series Game of Thrones. As a backdrop for Arya Stark and Gendry's journeys on the King's Road, its appearance in the premiere of the second season made it famous. However, another beech tree from Ireland came into the spotlight in September of 2015, quite different from the Dark Hedges. This fallen tree, discovered in Colony, a historically rich small town situated at the extreme northwest of the island, was uprooted several months prior due to a catastrophic storm. These gales bring about rain, snow, and flooding, and are known to produce wind speeds reaching up to 100 miles per hour. Yet the tumble of this 215-year-old giant didn't garner any attention until months later, when a chilling find was observed in the exposed root system of the tree. To inspect this abnormal finding, an archaeological team was engaged, and the scientific group from the Sligo Leitrim Archaeological Service that arrived at the site immediately identified what they were dealing with. A terrifying revelation came to light. It was a bisected human skeleton, torn apart by the tree when it was uprooted. The upper body, inclusive of the torso, arm, and skull, was found entangled in the tree's exposed roots, while the lower body remnants were still embedded in the soil. Dr. Marion Dowd, an archaeologist, inferred that the tree must have split the skeleton buried beneath it when it was thrown over during the storm. Dr. Dowd also observed some of the bones had been damaged by the shifting of the tree roots. After verifying the skeletal remnants belonged to a 17 to 20-year-old male, the archaeologists utilized carbon dating to determine the timeline of his demise. Carbon-14, a radioactive carbon isotope, allows scholars to establish the age of organic material by measuring its decay rate. When the findings were delivered, the researchers were amazed to find out that the skeleton traced back to somewhere between 1030 and 1200 CE. This youthful man of the Middle Ages subsequently perished about a millennium ago. The team gauged that the man was roughly 5'10" in stature, and relying on the wear in his articulations, he must have sustained a physically strenuous occupation. Also, while the man's stature might seem common in our modern era, it was significantly taller than the 5'5" average that was ordinary for men during his time. But the extraordinary find was merely starting to disclose its mysteries. After closely scrutinizing the bones, the researchers also discovered signs of physical torment. Most prominently, the skeleton bore cut marks on the ribs and the hand. This fact led the researchers to theorize that these injuries were inflicted by a blade. The man certainly did not die of standard causes. Furthermore, the team deduced that the injuries suggested this man was striving to evade his attacker. The dual primary hypotheses were that the unidentified man had either perished in a weapon-based confrontation or due to a personal dispute. Neither prospect would be out of the ordinary in medieval Europe, where existence was brief and strenuous for everyone except the aristocracy. The person who planted this tree at the commencement of the 19th century possibly had no clue about the secret that lay beneath, the researchers speculated. Nevertheless, it was the planter's actions that eventually led to the revelation of this historic gem more than 200 years later. But the archaeological wonder was not done yet. Indeed, because the man was positioned in a grave in a west-east direction, hands folded over the hip area, the researchers ascertained that he had been provided a traditional burial. This signifies that kin or locals who had known the man provided him with a proper burial. Even better, this unearthing also tapped into the likelihood of other burial sites within the same vicinity. For instance, Historical records from the 19th century show evidence that this specific place hosted a place of worship in a cemetery in medieval times. So far, probes have not unearthed any other archaeological sites in proximity, yet the finding of this grave certainly provides optimism that there could be more concealed historical artifacts awaiting discovery. Presently, however, the bones are destined for a more permanent residence at the National Museum of Ireland in Dublin. To wrap things up, this discovery not only offers a short peek into life during the Middle Ages, but also serves as a powerful indicator of the abundant history concealed just a few steps beneath us.